माझे गरजे नाना रूप ते संग संग तेरे नाचे संग संग तेरे नाचे तेरा किसी ने भी भेद न पाया कैसी माया भाई तुझे वो तो नंदी की सवारी ओ शंकर भोले वाले शैल बिहारी त्रिपुरारी तेरी लीला प्रभु सबसे है न्यारी ओ शंकर भोले वाले शैल बिहारी त्रिपुरारी तेरी लीला प्रभु सबसे है न्यारी ओ शंकर भोले वाले
शैल बिहार तेरी लीला प्रभु सबसे न्यारी तेरी लीला प्रभु सबसे न्यारी तेरी लीला प्रभु सबसे न्यारी शंभो शंकरा करुणा करा जग सांब सदाशिव है त्रिपुरारी शंभो हृदय निवासी साक्षी स्वरूपी
सांब सदाशिव हे त्रिपुरारी शंभो हृदय निवासी साक्षी स्वरूपी
शंभो शंकरा
करुणा करा जग जागवा
शंभो शंकरा
करुणा करा जग जागवा
शंभो शंभो शंकरा
करुणाकरा जगसाधरा
शंभो हृदय तुम्ही आमच्या वास करा सर्वदा
शिवोऽहं 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 शिवोऽहम् मनोबुद्ध्यहङ्कारचित्तानि नाहं मनोबुद्ध्यहङ्कारचित्तानि नाहं न च श्रोत्रजिह्वे न च घ्राणनेत्रे न च श्रोत्रजिह्वे न च घ्राणनेत्रे न च व्योमभूमिर्न तेजो न वायु न च व्योमभूमिर्न तेजो न वायु चिदानन्दरूप शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं चिदानन्दरूप शिवोऽहं 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 शिवोऽहम् न च प्राणसंज्ञो न वै पञ्चवायु न च प्राणसंज्ञो न वै पञ्चवायु न वा सप्तधातुर्न वा पञ्चकोश न वा सप्तधातुर्न वा पञ्चकोश न वाक्पाणिपादं न चोपस्थपायु न वाक्पाणिपादं न चोपस्थपायु चिदानन्दरूप शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं चिदानन्दरूप शिवोऽहं 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 शिवोऽहम् शिवोऽहं 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 शिव
Muy buenas noches a todos. Jai Shri Mataji. Good night. Vamos a comenzar meditación el día de hoy. Colectivamente podemos subir nuestra Kundalini y darnos los bandhams. Now we can rise our Kundalini and put ourselves the bandhams. Vamos a llevar la atención a nuestro interior. Let's take our attention inside ourselves. Y vamos a invitar a nuestra madre Kundalini a ascender por nuestro canal central hasta el Sahasrara lentamente. By inviting our mother Kundalini to ascend through our central channel to the Sahasrara. Vamos a adorar a Shri Mataji en su forma de Shri Ganesha en nuestro interior. We are going to worship Shri Mataji in her form of Shri Ganesha within us. Te pedimos humildemente que nos hagas personas inocentes para ser dignos de tu divina atención. We humbly ask to make us innocent people to be worthy of your divine attention. Podemos decir juntos el mantra de Shri Ganesha. We can say Shri Ganesha mantra. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Ganesha Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namaha. Vamos a mantener nuestra mano derecha hacia la Madre Tierra. Now we can take our right hand to Mother Earth. Y humildemente vamos a pedir a nuestra Madre Tierra que por favor absorba todos los excesos de nuestro canal izquierdo. We humbly ask Mother Earth, please absorb all the excesses of our left side. Shri Mahakali Bhairava. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Mahakali Bhairava Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namaha. Vamos sintiendo este aspecto sutil de nuestra Madre Tierra. Vamos sintiendo cómo absorbe todos nuestros excesos. Sintiendo nuestra Madre Tierra desde nuestro silencio. Ahora llevamos nuestra atención a nuestro canal derecho y vamos a pedirle a Shri Mataji que equilibre nuestro canal derecho a través del éter y lo refresque. Now we turn our attention to our right channel and say, Shri Mataji, please balance our right side through the ether element and cool down. Shri Mahasarasvati Hanumana. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Mahasarasvati Hanumana Sakshat Shri Adishakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devyai Namo Namaha. Podemos descansar nuestra mano. Now we can rest our hand. Nuevamente invitamos a nuestra Madre Kundalini con total respeto y entendimiento, siendo conscientes que es el reflejo de la Adi Shakti en nosotros. Vamos a recorrer lentamente nuestra mano por el canal central. And again, we invite our Mother Kundalini with complete respect and understanding, being aware that it is the reflection of the Adi Shakti in us. We slowly raise our hand through the central channel. Desde nuestro Sahaja, de manera colectiva, vamos a decir juntos el mantra de Shri Mahalakshmi Ganesha. In our Sahasrara collective, in a collective way, we are going to say Shri Mahalakshmi Ganesha mantra. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Mahalakshmi Ganesha Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devyai Namo Namaha.
Now let's take our attention to our heart. Vamos a llevar nuestra atención a nuestro corazón. Shri Mataji, please come in my heart. Please open my heart completely. Shri Mataji, por favor, ven a nuestro corazón y ábrelo completamente. Shri Mataji, hazme uno con el Espíritu. Shri Shiva Parvati Sakshat. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Shiva Parvati Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devai Namo Namaha. Let's take our attention towards Sahasrara. Vamos a subir nuestra atención despacio a nuestro Sahasrara. Srimataji, por favor, ven a mi Sahasrara y ábrelo. Srimataji, déjanos sentir tu presencia ahí. Srimataji, please come in our Sahasrara and let us feel your presence. Con nuestra atención en el Sahasrara, vamos a escuchar unas palabras de Srimataji.
Whole play is like this of three forces going on, just to show ultimately the truth prevails. First is the Shiva's compassion, his goodness, to one side. Then the play of Sri Krishna, or say Sri Vishnu, of neutralizing. And the third is the play of Brahma, who creates things and who produces things. All these three forces are playing just to create an atmosphere for all of us to feel that there is something else is to be done to our human awareness. All they have evolved within us, this desire to seek the truth. Now on one side, Shiva is extremely compassionate, very kind, even to asuras, the Rakshasas. But on the other side, he can be extremely cruel, he can destroy the whole universe. If the people are so decadent, if the people do not take to spirituality, if their innocence is completely lost, if they do not get detached from all these wrong identifications which are creating problems in this world, he destroys the whole universe. So as it is, he is the spectator of the work of Adishakti. He allows her to do all this work, to create human beings, to give them realization, do all this. But in case he finds her children, people who have been saved by her, are misbehaving, are insulting, or in any way destroying her work, he might get into a temper by which he can destroy the whole universe. But I don't think now there's any chance for him to do that. Because we have now Sahaja Yogis all over. But what I find among Sahaja Yogis is this, that some of the Sahaja Yogis grow very fast, steadily, strongly. They achieve their principle of Shivatata. The first achievement shows that from inside they start getting detached. Now, detachment is not mental. It's not mental. It is not that we have to take to some sort of a sannyasa, or we have to go to Himalayas, give up our families and all that. But the detachment is within oneself. When that detachment starts working, the first sign is that we become joyous. We become happy. Now, if you ask anyone, why are you unhappy? He'll talk about his wife, maybe his house, maybe his children, maybe his country, maybe society, whatever it is. So he gets absolutely upset or maybe very unhappy to see things happening around him. Now he is a realized soul. This unhappiness is not going to help. What is needed is now to know that you can correct all these ills of the society, of the family, of the whole country by transforming others, not by feeling bad. But while doing that, the main thing that you should have is a complete detachment. I was amazed when I first started Sahaja Yoga, how people told me about their own countrymen, country fellows. I was amazed how they told me about their own religions, how wrong things they are doing. I didn't know so much as they told me. And I thought that this is a detachment that has come, that they can see clearly what's wrong. What's wrong with my society, with my people, with my relations, with my family, with my country, with the whole world. But it's only possible if you are not identified to any one of them. Otherwise, you will never see the defects. You will never see what's wrong with that person. You can never even see the chakras which are catching. So the first thing that should happen is detachment. Now, how to achieve detachment is the point. Many people ask me, Mother, how do you get detached? Because I'm not attached, you see. So I'm already detached. I don't know how to do that way. But for you people, I would say, to understand yourself, you should introspect. Try to find out. To what thing am I attached? Why am I miserable? For whom am I worried? Why should I worry? Some things, you see, which were never very important, they become very important to certain surgeries. For example, I was told that in the West people don't care so much for their children. But as soon as they get realization, they just get attached to their children like as if with some glue. They cannot think what is good for their children. Everything about children they think is their primary duty. The other day I was surprised when they told me that it's the parents who want to come after the birthday puja. I was shocked. I mean, just on the way is birthday puja, and why should the parents want to come after that? When I told yogi, he said, mother will be very happy if they are here, and they should be. So it will help the children, it will help the parents. But the whole now attention goes to the children, that we must leave the children there and we must look after them, and that's the only thing. So the attachment to children will definitely make you do such things which are not good for you. So this new attachment starts. After Sahaja Yoga, I have seen, very common. Then another attachment is, say, to your family. Normally there are no such things in the West. People are not attached to their family much. You see, they drink, they do all kinds of things. Suddenly they become self-realized, and it's like a boomerang. They come back to the family. So attached to the family, attached to the house, attached to everything. I just can't understand. If you are becoming the pure spirit, then you are detached, because you are just a reflection. You are the reflection of God Almighty. So all these identifications drop out. Now, one may say how to drop it out. I have never dropped them, but still I can suggest certain things which you can drop. First is meditation. You should discover about yourself what's wrong with you, which side is catching. Is it right or left side? With meditation you can find out. Are you attached to money? Are you attached to business? Are you attached to your family? Are you attached to your country in a way which is not Sahaja? Or to your culture which is not Sahaja? Then try to get rid of this attachment by meditation. You know how to get rid of the right and the left. This attachment will show on your fingertips, and you have to see for yourself what centers you are catching, in which way are you in trouble, and then you can clarify it very simply by taking a very simple Sahaja treatment. I think here we fail that once we get attached to something, we don't even think we are getting attached. We think we are doing very great thing because now we love this person, love that person. Shiva's qualities. The compassion part. You start getting attached to people. That is no compassion. That is no compassion of any kind. To be attached to any such things is no compassion, and you cannot have compassion of Shiva. Though people think it is the Shiva's compassion that is working within us. Not. Because that compassion is very pure. It is like, as I have told you many times, it's like the sap in the tree, which rises and goes to various parts of the tree, and then either it evaporates or goes down into Mother Earth. It's not attached. If it gets attached to one flower or to one leaf or to one fruit, then the whole tree will suffer and also the flower will disappear. So this kind of attachment to a particular thing, to a particular idea, is not proper. In Sahaja Yoga I have found people are very adaptable and understand what they should do. But the main thing is meditation. In meditating on your heart, on the Shiva Tattva, on the principle of Shiva, you can definitely detach, and then the joy will be the maximum. Joy will be the maximum. I have seen people have interest in, say, food, or in clothes, or in house, anything. You can have interest. You should have interest. But in that interest, there should be enlightenment that you cannot get attached to it. Some people say, who are, say, from South India, they don't like North Indian food. Those who are from North India don't like South India. It's a big problem. I asked the people in Indian Airlines, why don't you have some standard food? He said, what is the standard food of India? Tell me. It was a question. Indians are very particular about the taste and food. So, it's a fact, we don't have any standard food in India. But in the same way we can say, in so many other ways, that in the West people run after things which are not necessary. They do things just out of fashion, or I don't know, because their personality is not grown up. If your personality is grown up, then you see everything from an angle which is much higher than others, and you don't get dissolved with others. What you know is much higher, much greater, and much more joy-giving. Now these attachments, people think that is very joy-giving. If you get a child, and if you have, say, a wife, everything are joy-giving. It's a very wrong idea. The joy comes from your own source of your spirit. Whether your husband is good, whether your children are good or bad, whatever they are, they cannot give you joy. It's only you can enjoy yourself. And this is why one becomes very forgiving. When nobody can harm you, then whom are you going to be angry with? That is another great quality of Sadashiva, is that he is extremely forgiving. He goes up to a point till he destroys the whole work of Adishakti. But otherwise he is very, very forgiving. And he also is very balanced about it. Once the Adishakti got very angry with the whole world, was so decadent and all that, and she started destroying everything. So he put a little child under her feet, and such a big tongue came out with such a shock, she stopped her destruction. So his ways are such that a person who is to develop the Shiva principle within himself should be extremely forgiving. I know there are people who are very cruel, who are very torturesome. If you cannot bear it, all right, finish it off. I'll stand by you there. But if you can bear it, it's better to bear and undergo this experience of bearing it, because it's not difficult to bear than to get out of it. For example, a lady came to me and she said, I'm going to divorce my husband. I said, why? Because he comes home very late and I get very little of him. But I said, when you divorce, you'll not get him at all. What's the logic? At least now you see him, whatever it is, whatever time is there. But this is no solution. If you divorce him, you'll never see him. So what's the use of such a divorce? So many things like that can be understood once you are a detached person, that you are not to be attached to anything. Now, who can aggress you if you are not attached to anyone? Nobody can. Only thing, when you feel that you have to protest, you should, but with detachment. In protest also is important to absolutely to have a complete detachment. Now the main problem before us today is something else, is that we all have to ascend. And ascend with the equal strength. There's a story about some birds who were caught in a net. So they decided that we should get out of this net, and they tried. Everybody tried to get out. But nobody individually could work it out. So they all decided to fly together, 1, 2, 3, and go. And they took all that net with them, and they said, then they requested the rats that please come and cut our net, and they were freed. So if it can happen between the rats and the birds, why not between us? So in collectivity, you'll be amazed in the collectivity how we could be helpful and joyous with each other. Now say something is wrong with your mother, father, sister, somebody. Doesn't matter. After all, you have the ocean of joy here with the collectivity. And your problems can be solved if collectively, if you want to solve your problem. So we have to depend on the collectivity. Very much to be one with the collective. I feel once you jump into the sea of Sahaja, the joy itself draws you together. Meeting each other is such a joyous thing. We have had so many experiences of that, of Sahajogis who have told me how happy they were to find Sahajogis somewhere out of the blue, and how they felt happy. So this tie between the Sahajogis is really the most joyous channel. And that is what is the source, we should say, of our becoming one together. Once you start enjoying each other. I have told you once a story of a great poet in India whose name was Namadeva, who was a tailor. And there was another one who was a potter. Sometimes I miss out in English words. This potter was another poet, and he was called as Gorakumbha. So when Namadeva went to meet him, a saint only feels like meeting a saint, looked at him and he just stood back. And then he said a beautiful couplet. He says that I came here to see the formless Chaitanya, but here the Chaitanya is in the form. Nirgunacha bheti alo sagunacha. I came to see the formless, to see the vibrations. But here it is in the form that I see it. Only a saint can say this to another saint. This kind of appreciation, this subtle appreciation is only possible between the two saints or between the many. They don't see he was kneading the clay. He was wearing a dirty dhoti doing that work. He never saw all these things. He never saw his body, face or anything. But he saw that the divinity personified him. This sensitivity of feeling for others, Sahajogis, should really develop within you. Then you won't care for nonsensical, superficial things. And this is one of the great principles of Shiva. He doesn't bother. You see, his hair are all matted up. He sits on a fast-moving bull with both the legs like that, going for his wedding. Can you imagine? And all his friends, all his followers are somebody has only one eye, another has only one hand, one is bent like that. Because for him, the outside personality doesn't matter. What matters is the spirituality. Whether you have one eye or whether you have a crooked body makes no difference to him. To him, all of them are his own people. Because nothing that is superficial attracts his attention, but the divinity in a person. We have so many ways of understanding his principle because he is all-pervading. If you feel compassion for someone, it works. It definitely works. Recently there was a case of some sort of a incurable disease in Mexico. And the lady who was Mexican, who was working in the UN, she's still working in UN, she wrote to me 2 letters that, Mother, I'm going to lose my son because he has this horrible disease. She wrote to me. I just felt such compassion for her because she wrote a letter which brought tears to my eyes. And imagine those tears have cured that boy. Has cured that boy completely. And she wrote me a letter of thanking and all. I was amazed because my compassion is not mental. It just works. It's just there. It just flows and works it out. In the same way, you can also become that. I want you to have all my powers. But first is the compassion. And a Sahaja cannot ill-treat another person. Anyone, whether he's a Sahaja or not a Sahaja, that's not important. But nobody can aggress other Sahajas. If you say even he is a non-Sahaja, Sahaja should never aggress. That's not a sign of a Sahaja. Sahaja is different. Like the other day somebody said, I said, you're very hot-tempered. Yes, I am. When somebody provokes me, I said, everybody when he's provoked only gets angry. Only the mad people are such who do not get angry even if they are provoked. You see. So, if you get angry when you are provoked, is nothing so great. Everybody gets angry like that when you are provoked. But if you say that if you are not provoked, then you will not get angry. That sort of a state is very different. So, what I find that in the whole atmosphere of today, in the modern times, there's a big struggle going on, which is not Shiva's culture. Shiva's culture is the Sahaj culture. If you are Sahajogis, you should have compassionate understanding of others' feelings, and also you should have readiness to look after not only Sahajogis, also non-Sahajogis. Then your compassion will become effective. Now, as you know, today the biggest problem of today's civilization is that Western culture has gone to dogs. They are going, when you read the newspaper, you are shocked the way things are happening. I don't know how many will realize it before their destruction. It's really self-destructive. On one side, this is the self-indulgent and permissive society which is working. Now, on the other side, I find the Islamic culture is trying to oppose it. That's correct. They are trying to oppose it is correct. But the way they are opposing is creating problems. If you oppress somebody, don't do this, don't do that, then they'll do it much more. I'll give you the example. that if you go into the north of India, the culture is more Islamic. And the people are very licentious and all the time looking at women, and not all, but many. Though they say they are Hindus or they say this and that, but still they have all these bad habits which have come from the Islamic suppression. When a woman is completely covered and nobody can see her, they become much more curious. I have some people who came to Bombay, and somebody was traveling with me and he was looking at every woman on the street. I said, your neck will break now the way you are going on. But it is a common practice there. Not only that, but this curiosity goes too far and people can become extremely immoral, just like we are in the West. So the suppression of your desires is also wrong. Also this culture which outwardly suppresses, but inwardly people are very immoral. Once I was traveling from Riyadh to London and I went off to sleep. When I got up, I saw some other people sitting there, all very nicely dressed up with short skirts and women with all the bow ties and this and that. So I asked their hostess, did we stop somewhere? She said, no, we have been going directly. I said, then who are these people? Same. They are so much changed. I mean, I was surprised that they were wearing such long, these chadar and all that, and now here they are with all these funny dresses. I couldn't understand. So that's what happened. The curiosity created by suppression also is not help. In Sahaja Yoga there is no question of suppression. You become innocent. Just become innocent. That is the principle of Shiva. This Sahaj culture is in the center. It's neither too much of licentiousness, nor too much of suppression, but it is in the center. Which is the Shiva's greatest principle, is to be innocent. And this innocence just shines in you. I've seen it. You people, whatever you might have done before, but I see you are so pure. You don't have these stupid ideas of behaving in a manner that is so Western. Also, so many Islamic people I've seen who have come to Sahaja Yoga have become very, very whole play is like
Vamos a cantar los 3 Mahamantras desde nuestro Sahasrara. Let's all collectively sing the 3 Mahamantras.
त्वमेव साक्षात् श्रीमहालक्ष्मी महासरस्वती महाकाली त्रिगुणात्मिका कुण्डलिनी साक्षात् श्री आदिशक्ति माताजी श्री निर्मला देव्यै नमो नमः। ॐ त्वमेव साक्षात् श्रीकल्की साक्षात् श्री आदिशक्ति माताजी श्री निर्मला देव्यै नमो नमः। ॐ त्वमेव साक्षात् श्रीकल्की साक्षात् श्री सहस्रार स्वामिनी मोक्षप्रदायिनी माताजी श्री निर्मला देव्यै नमो नमः।
Vamos a permanecer unos 2 minutos en completo silencio, absorbiendo las vibraciones de Shrimataji. We are going to stay for a few minutes in complete silence, feeling Shrimataji vibrations. Vamos a agradecer a nuestra Divina Madre la posibilidad de sentirla en nuestro Sahasrara. We are going to thanks to Divine Mother Shrimataji for the possibility to feel her in our Sahasraras. Vamos a pedir humildemente a nuestra Madre que por favor nos establezca a nivel colectivo en nuestro Sahasrara. We are going to ask in a humble way to Shrimataji to establish in a collective way the Sahasrara. Vamos a hacer juntos Namaskar a Shri Mataji. Colectivamente nos subimos la Kundalini y nos damos los bandhan. We are going to do Namaskar at the feet or lotus feet of Shri Mataji. We can raise our Kundalini and do the bandhans.
Les invitamos para meditación de la mañana con Puerto Rico, Argentina, a la misma hora. Gracias.
Muchísimas gracias a todos por su atención. De manera colectiva y desde nuestro corazón, disfrutamos mucho de una meditación colectiva a pesar de no estar juntos. Estamos juntos en el Sahasrara. Thank you for the meditation, to feel each other in our Sahasrara. Maybe not in the person way, but collective in our Sahasrara. Feel the collective. Un abrazo para todos. Hug for everyone. Jai Shri Mataji. We invite you tomorrow to the meditation, the same hour, to Shivaratri. Jai Shri Mataji.